Okay, so for this next question, the equation has already been factorized, the denominator, so we're just looking at the integral of 7x over x plus 3 times x minus 2. And I'm going to go ahead and express that with its factors. Okay, so this is one of those repetition cases. I multiply everything by both factors. When I multiplied this part by both factors, first factor and the second factor cancel out perfectly. So we just are left with 7x. When I multiply this one by both factors, the first factor cancels out, second factor doesn't get cancelled out. So we have c1 times the second factor, x minus 2. When I multiply again by both factors, the second factor is cancelled out, but the first factor isn't. So we're left with c2 times the first factor, which is x plus 3. All right, so now I see that I have an x term on the left-hand side. That's nice. I'm going to add a constant term of 0, which you can totally do, that's fine. Now, I'm going to expand the brackets, so I'm going to have c1 times x plus c2 times x, which we can express as c1 plus c2 times x, and then I have c1 times negative 2 plus c2 times 3. So now, again, I have some x stuff and some constant stuff, and never the two shall meet. They don't interfere with each other. So the green stuff, the x stuff, gives me my first equation. Left-hand side equals right-hand side. The red stuff gives me my second equation. Left-hand side equals right-hand side. So I can write out my two equations. There's my first one and my second one. There we are, two equations with two unknowns. So on the first equation, I just divide everything by x. So c1 plus c2 equal x. On the right-hand side, let's go ahead and add 2c1 to both sides. And then divide both sides by 3. So everywhere I see c2, I can replace it with 2/3 c1. That's going to be useful over here. I can change the c1 here say this is 1 times C1, but it's also like 3/3 times C1. Because then I add the two fractions together. 3/3 plus 2/3 is 5/3. And then divide both sides by 5/3. Dividing by 5/3 is the same as multiplying by 3/5. Dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal, the flip of it. So we have there. And just to kind of show you, the 3's over here cancel out, the 5's cancel out. So on the right hand side we have C1, and on the left hand side we have 3 times 7 is 21 over 5, and 21 over 5 is 4 1/5. So C1 is 4 1/5, which is 4.2, if you like. And C2, well, because they both add together to give 7, then C2 will be 7 minus 4.2, which is 2.8. Okay, so our fraction over here becomes, now we're taking the integral of (4.2) over x plus 3 plus 2.8 over x minus 2. With respect to x, and since we've done one of these problems already, we can kind of shortcut and we can say, okay, this is 4.2 times natural logarithm of x plus 3 divided by the derivative of x plus 3, which is 1, so that's fine, plus 2.8 times natural logarithm of x minus 2 plus a constant. Okay, so basically the same procedure, it's just numbers get a little more interesting, but that's fine. Okay, let's look at another example.